Hi, Calaveras County, Morgan Gotche here, CEO of the Calaveras County Chamber of Commerce. And I am excited today specifically because we have not had a conversation like this that we've presented to you on funding in kind of a long time. In fact, I think it's been probably a couple of months at least that since we've actually come to you and had, oh, here's the update in funding. And so much has happened. And then we have those moments where we're thinking, oh, good, we're reopening and everything's back to normal. Oh, no, wait, we're going to close again. And so what I wanted to do today was bring back the lovely Carrie Ellinwood. And in case you haven't seen many of the videos and different events that she has been a part of Calaveras, she's the acting deputy director of the SBA, housed out of Sacramento. And she has been so helpful even prior to COVID-19. She's really been the go-to resource for lending and understanding what financial opportunities are there for small businesses. So, Carrie, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Morgan. It's so good to see you again. This time not in person, but still good to see you nonetheless. I love your beautiful smile. It just makes my day. And I'm happy to be back with Calaveras County Small Businesses. We are doing another update on the economic injury disaster loans as well as the Paycheck Protection Program. And I just want to preface this with this information is very fluid. As you know, Congress is looking at all kinds of different things, and they've made a few modifications already, and I'll be sharing some of those with you today. So keep in mind that this may change before you hear it. The way things have been lately, some days we had changes every day. So I want to share with you just briefly kind of an overview of what we're going to talk about today and let you know some of the actual results from what our Congress has done for us. So the SBA has a couple of programs that are for small businesses. And so far, with the Paycheck Protection Program, as of July 13th, we have had lenders, all of our community lenders, our larger lenders, some of our CDFI lenders have put out 4,921,227 of the Paycheck Protection loans for the small business communities for $517 billion, $682,716,392. So lots of number there to rattle off for you. The good news is the 5,000 plus lenders that have been making these loans have actually made those loans to where now the average loan size is $105,000. So the Paycheck Protection Program has helped quite a few businesses across our country. And for those of you that haven't taken advantage of this program yet, it has been extended until August 8th. So what you'll want to do is go to your local bank. They'll let you know if they're still participating. And if they're not participating, what you can do is go to SBA.gov. And there's a link there that will help you find a lender that is still active in this program. It's called Lender Match. So if you go to SBA.gov and you Google Lender Match, you'll find a lender who's still offering the Paycheck Protection Program. This is for any of your operating expenses to run your business due to the COVID-19 closure that you may have experienced. This is for Paycheck Protection, and you can use this 60% to employees' payroll costs, such as their paychecks, their insurance, any bonuses you might pay them. And you have a 24-week period of time to use that after that loan is made by your bank.
Carrie, that percentage changed.
Yes, thank you. It did. Originally, the program was for 8 weeks, and the employer had to use 75% of this to have the forgiveness on the Paycheck Protection loan. Now it's down to 60%, which allows that business to use up to 40% for their non-payroll costs related to their rent, their mortgage, any of their utilities. So this makes it a little more balanced offer for the small business. The interest rate is still 1%, and the term was extended from 2 years to 5 years on those parts of the loan if they're not forgiven, which is a big conversation point right now. And we are waiting for further guidance for our lenders. So if you're a small business and you have one and you went through either the 8-week or you're close to the 24-week period, be patient with us. That information will come out on the SBA.gov website on how you will get forgiveness from your lender. There is information on our website now that can show you how to do those calculations. And the other great thing we have for you is through the CARES Act, not only did they fund additional assistance for small business in cash ways, they also funded our resource partners at the Small Business Development Center, where our Northern California Small Business Development Center has been able to add over 50 business advisors. They will answer the phone and give you assistance right then and there. I'm going to give you that number. It's 833-ASK, A-S-K, and then SBDC. They have people working all day from 8 to 5, I think is their hours. And they'll set you up with online appointments, just like we're similar to what we're doing today. And they'll walk you through that paycheck protection, as well as any other assistance you might need in regard to some of the SBA options. The next thing that we're going to spend a few minutes on is our Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. They call that the EIDL loan program. Looks like I went over some of that already. And we will have these slides for you. Morgan's going to get those out to you. So if you signed up and registered, she'll send them out. So the Economic Injury Disaster Loan is the loan program that you would use for your ongoing working capital for any of your monthly debts, your payroll, if you haven't received your paycheck protection, or if you've exhausted that. You can get both of these loans. So keep in mind, if you do obtain the PPP Paycheck Protection Program loan, as well as the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, you're going to want to try and keep those funds separate, just so as you go through and do your accounting, that'll make it easier for you. And again, our Small Business Development Center resource partners can help you put that documentation together for that forgiveness. Back to this Economic Injury Disaster Loan, there have been millions of small businesses affected. So far, since July 3rd, or up to July 3rd, 2,235,000 small businesses have received these loans for over $134 billion. And these loans are available to you today. There was another program called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Advance. That program has exhausted the $130 billion in funds that were allocated. So those are no longer available. If you do have a loan in process with the Disaster Center, which is direct from SBA, and you have a question about that, what you'll want to do is call them at 1-800-659-2955, and they can assist you with finding out your loan status. In addition to that, if you were declined for your Economic Injury Disaster Loan, reach out to our Small Business Development Center. They have advisors there that can help you determine what the problem was. If it's credit, they can share with you some ideas on how to bring your credit back up. And the reason I'm letting you know this is because you have up to 6 months after you've been declined to reapply if you can make some of the adjustments that they asked for when they gave you that decline letter. So again, this is for ongoing expenses. It's a 30-year term loan, 3.75% for for-profit companies and 2.75% for not-for-profits. And you apply online directly with SBA at the link that Morgan's providing for us there on the screen. In addition to the CARES Act funding these two loan programs, they've also funded debt relief. So if you have an existing SBA 7A 504 or a microloan, SBA will make those payments of principal and interest and any associated fees for 6 months. So if you have a loan that was made before March 27th and is actually made before September 27th of 2020, you will have that 6 month of loan payment made for you by SBA automatically. So let's say you're a business and you found a way to pivot and make your business profitable, and you need some additional working capital. And what you can do is go to your lender, apply for that 7A loan. If you qualify and they fund that loan for you, you'll have 6 months of your payments made automatically if that loan is closed and fully funded by September 27th. In addition to this, they are also paying the existing disaster loans. If you were a victim of the car fire, those loan payments are automatically deferred through December 31st of this year. So the CARES Act was very extensive in its coverage for small business, and this has been such an unprecedented time for us. We're happy to help you, but please do be patient. We've had to add quite a few new staff members to assist with this loan processing.
How many? Can I ask that? Like, how many have you added on? Because it has to be just insane.
It's been a couple thousand of employees to process those loans, assist with all the phone calls. So yes, we've done some public-private partnerships in addition to that to try and get this product out. If you can imagine, the agency in 14 years didn't process as many loans as we processed with our lending partners in 14 days with Paycheck Protection. So the volume was incredible. Our lenders were stand up, did an awesome job. We're so proud of them. So yes, big project.
Yes.
So I mentioned briefly about the waiver of the 7A loan payment and for the 6 months. I just want to talk a little bit about, for those of you that are rolling along in your business and may not be that familiar with SBA except for our disaster products, we have also what we call the big three, our loan programs. Our microloan program is offered through intermediary lenders for loans up to $50,000. Our 7A loan program is our flagship program, and it can go from $5,000 to $5 million, depending on what your business qualifies for. And you work directly with your business banker for that business loan. In addition, we have a 504 loan program that is to purchase buildings, large equipment, $100,000 pieces of equipment. You can use that program as well. And what's nice about that is if you've been in business a couple years, you're ready to grow, you can occupy 51% of the building, you can do that with just a 10% down payment. The 504 stands for you work with a bank and get that 50% first note. SBA comes in with a second note in a debenture for 40%, and you as a small business come up with 10%. It is a job creation program, so of the 40% that the SBA carries for every $65,000, you're going to want to create or retain one full-time job equivalent.
I have a question on this. The big three, are these all for existing in business organizations, or can these be for new startup businesses as well?
That's a great question, Morgan. Yes, they can be for startup businesses. The microloan, particularly for those micro enterprises with 5 or less employees, which over, I think it's 90% of our small businesses in the country fall into that category. They're eligible for the microloans. They're also eligible for the 7A loan guarantee program. The 504 loan program is more geared towards businesses that have been in business for a couple years and are ready to grow. Good question. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, I mentioned earlier our Small Business Development Center. These are our resource partners that SBA partially funds. They also have other funding from the state of California in our case. And there's 1,400 of these offices nationwide, so they're across the country. If by chance you decide to move to another state, you're going to find an SBA district office just like we have here in Sacramento, as well as our resource partners. You can go to our website again. Morgan's sharing that there for you, sba.gov local-assistance. Put in your zip code and it'll pull up the closest Small Business Development Center, Women's Business Center, or SCORE organization. Next slide. So the partner contacts in our area, I have this slide up here that Morgan's sharing with you, and these are in our area. Those also include advisors that speak Spanish, so you can reach out to them and have Spanish, if that's your first language, assistance directly with them. In addition, we have our women's business centers. The California Capital Financial Development Corporation houses the one in Sacramento. They help everyone, not just women, but a lot of their programs are geared specifically for women who are starting businesses or have businesses. We also have another women's business center up in Redding and one in Mount Shasta. And the other thing that the SBA manages is the federal contracting. If any of you are in a position to contract with the federal government, we're one of the biggest purchasers in the world. We buy all kinds of products and services, and 23% of all the federal agencies set aside, purchases are set aside for small business. So it's a requirement by law that they comply with that, and they're very eager to work with you if you become certified as a small business. You can actually go to the SBA.gov website/contracting. You'll get more information there. You can self-certify as a small business. You'll just need to have your EIN, a DUNS number, and your other information about your personal, who you are, and add that in there to the website, and you can then become self-certified. In addition to the regular small business federal contracting set aside, there are additional ones that are on the next slide. And what those certifications are, they're special set aside certifications that SBA manages and monitors with our other agencies in the federal government. One is the 8A Business Development Program. This is a program for minority business owners, women in non-traditional women fields, and also economically disadvantaged small businesses. That's a program that you typically want to be in business a couple of years, and then you would submit your application. You'll get one-on-one assistance from one of our business opportunity specialists in the district offices, and they'll sit down and walk you through that registration process, as well as help you build your business using that program. Another set aside is the historically underutilized business zones, a hub zone program. A lot of Calaveras County qualifies for that program. What you'll do is go to our SBA.gov website, type in hub zone, you put your zip code in, and it'll let you know, or actually your address and your zip code, and it'll let you know if you are in a hub zone. You can then go through that application process as well. There's the Woman-Owned Small Business Program. On July 15th, some additional certifications were set aside for that, and this will be another program that women can take advantage of to have additional government set aside for contracting for them. The 8A Business Development Program has 5%. Historically underutilized business zones have 3%. Women-owned small businesses, once that designation is fully set aside, will be 3%. And service-disabled veterans are also a 3% set aside. And again, if you want more information, go to certified.sba.gov, and you can learn about your eligibility requirements there. Or you can call us at the district office, and one of our BOSs, business opportunity specialists, will be happy to help you. Next slide. Okay, we always want to give you as much information as we can. As you know, July 15th was the extended tax deadline. So if you didn't file your taxes, I hope that you were able to file an extension with them. They'll give you one until October 15th. There's also USDA has some additional resources for farmers. And the GoBiz, the governor's GoBiz office has some additional opportunities for local taxes and things like that to be taken care of. So these are all great resources for you. The Sacramento Metro Chamber has a wealth of information there as well. They have some regional county loans that are available in the metro area. If you happen not to be directly in Calaveras County, you may want to check with your county offices. Morgan, I don't know if your county's put together anything for small businesses in terms of special loans.
We have some things in the works right now, and thanks to our economic and community development director with the county as well. So things coming soon down the pipeline.
All right, so stay tuned to Morgan. She'll get you beat on those benefits for you. And then here's the sad part for the day. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, when disaster happens, they want to take advantage of those people affected. So we're looking to you to assist us. If you feel there's some fraud going on regarding to this emergency, please let us know. There's some different websites here you can go to. There's an actual disaster fraud phone number you can call if you feel there's been disaster loan fraud. Any SBA loan fraud we want to hear about. We want to take full action against those individuals to ensure that your tax dollars are being appropriately used and to the advantage of legitimate small businesses. So please, if you have any concerns about that, reach out to any one of these websites or phone numbers. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. So this is all the information for you. If you've applied for an SBA disaster loan, you have an application loan, you haven't heard anything, it has been a bit of a delay. As I mentioned, millions of small businesses have taken advantage of that opportunity. And that loan processing time can be anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks before you hear back. If you are concerned, though, please reach out to us either via the 800 number or that disaster customer service email. They'll get back to you as soon as they can. We've added, as I mentioned, additional staff to help you with that. If there's something that I've mentioned today that you might be interested in learning about more, you can reach out to us at the Sacramento District Office. We have an email up there, sacramento_do@sba.gov. We also, on our website, if you go to sba.gov/ca/Sacramento, you can get email updates. We send out regular emails weekly that will let you know all of the different courses and webinars that are available for you, most of those at no cost. In addition to that, I want to remind you again about our small business development resource partners at 1-833-ASK-SBDC. Great resources for you. They'll help you put loan applications together. They'll help you with the forgiveness form that you want to start getting ready for. All those things are available there for you. And I think that's all we have for the day, Morgan, unless you have some questions.
Awesome. No, that was, in fact, that was something I was going to highlight that we actually put in the comments, the 833-ASK-SBDC. Please look in there. And then I apologize, it came from my personal Facebook, but please email us at chamber@calaveras.org if you would like the slide deck that Carrie put together. I mean, there was a lot of data in there, a lot of information. And what's exciting is that it isn't just the COVID-19 recovery. It's for those who have had some time to kind of sit back and think that maybe it's time to pivot again, maybe their professional life and start a new business. It sounds like this is actually a really good time to be doing that, believe it or not. So very, very cool. Kathy, thank you so much for your question. I'm going to show it here. Speaking of Kathy Galino, so do we know how many loans have been processed in Calaveras County? That's what she's asking.
So Kathy, thank you for that question. We actually published the Paycheck Protection Program loan information on the SBA.gov website. What you'll want to do is go to the COVID-19 loan section, go all the way to the bottom, and you'll see that information. It's available as a download to you directly from a Box website. So that's where you can find that. I don't have it off the top of my head for you, unfortunately, but you certainly have that information available.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Now, I do have some questions for you, Carrie. I couldn't let you just go with just giving us the perfect presentation. I do have some nitty gritty. I've been collecting, people have been reaching out to me to make sure that we get some questions answered. So first of all is, I received an EIDL advance. What documentation do I need to provide to make sure it's forgiven?
So the idle advance is a forgivable loan, and it is forgiven. The only thing that would happen is you have an idle advance and you qualify for an idle loan, they're going to deduct that off the top of that idle loan. So it would be, some refer to it as double dipping. So you get the free grant money and then you'd get an additional loan. So what they do is deduct that off the top for you, and that is forgiven.
Okay.
So even if you don't get an SBA idle loan, it's still forgiven.
I'm going to pipe in Kathy's other question as a follow-up. She asked about idle loans in addition to Paycheck Protection Program. You mentioned where we could find the Paycheck Protection Program data for Calaveras, but what about the idle loan?
We have the idle loan published at the state level at this time. There's some work being done to make sure that we are ensuring that everyone has their private information maintained in that way. So it's a little different statute, but yes, that will be hopefully become available. I don't know when, but we do have it at the state level for you, not more granular than that at this point.
Okay. All right. Next question. Paycheck Protection Program question. Am I allowed to apply for another PPP? That's the question. So basically, they applied for it in the beginning. We're told in the parameters of the 8 weeks that they had to have it done. They brought their employees back, did the 8 weeks, but now they're experiencing a gap again. Are they allowed to apply for a second Paycheck Protection Program loan or a grant?
At this point, no. That program was written and legislated in such a way that the small business could obtain one loan. So today, I will say no, there's no ability to apply for a second loan. As I mentioned earlier, we extended that deadline, Congress did, until August 8th because there's still $130 billion out there. So if you haven't applied, you certainly can still apply, but you cannot apply for 2 Paycheck Protection Program loans at this time.
Okay, awesome. I think it goes without saying, today is July 16, 2020, and I'm even going to put this up here right now just so that you can see, because, and this is quite comical. In fact, Carrie and I were dialoguing about this beforehand. A challenge that we have is because data has changed so rapidly and so much. In fact, if I was to pull up some of our videos that we did back in March, it's a slightly different story now. And so Paycheck Protection Program didn't even exist in March. And so just to clarify, please look at the date. That's today. And hopefully we'll take this out of circulation when there's better and more information available. But I just thought I'd add that little caveat there. Okay, I have another PPP question, and you kind of answered this, but just in case someone is hopping on just now, for the PPP, what are the new terms for PPP and how do I apply now? My bank said they aren't doing them anymore.
Thank you. That's a good question. So the PPP program is still available. As I mentioned, if you go to SBA.gov and you search for lender match and put your zip code in, that's going to show you lenders that are working in the Paycheck Protection Program. A lot of the fintech organizations, the online lenders that joined us to offer this product, are still offering the Paycheck Protection if your local lender is not offering that. After June 5th, the terms went from a 2-year loan to a 5-year loan. The rate is still 1%, and your time to use it went from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. So that's the difference between prior to June 5th and after June 5th.
Okay, great. Question. My bar had to reclose after I just brought employees back from unemployment. What other funding options are available to me?
So that's a broad question. At this point, if you have used your Paycheck Protection Program, then that obviously wouldn't be another option for you. You may want to look into some of the funds that Morgan mentioned they're working on from the county level, if there might be something there. There's also some different CDFI type lenders, the non-traditional bank lenders that may have those microloans that you could look for to get you through in the interim. They have a little bit higher interest rate, but California Capital offers those. There's another lender in San Joaquin, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, that also offers those loans to you at non-bank organizations, mission-based lenders.
I think one thing too, I was just looking over the question again. It didn't specify whether it was just PPP. They could apply for EIDL loan, right?
Yeah.
And that can also cover. So that might be another great option. The terms are unbelievable, unheard of. And so that might be a viable option. Next question for you. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, don't want to interrupt. On the EIDL loan, 3.75%, 30-year term. Let's say you get approved for that, you submit to SBA, you show them your income and expenses for last year, and they approve you for a loan, and you start using the loan, and then you determine that, oh, I'm back in business, things are up and going again, I don't want to have this loan. You can pay that loan off early if you want to. So you have like the first day of the 12th month after that for your first payment. So you've got a year before you have to make a payment, and then you can prepay it with no penalty. So, please keep that in mind. Some people have thought, oh, I don't know if I should do this. You don't have to let it stay for 30 years. You can prepay it with no penalty.
That's great. That's great. Well, another question on that, on EIDL. So I only applied for $25,000 of my EIDL, but with the governor's new mandate, I should have taken out more. Can I take out more?
At this point, you can apply for a reconsideration for additional funds, but those may or may not get through in time for you to get the funds before the funds run out, because there isn't an unlimited pool today for the COVID-19 EIDL loans. So what you would do is, let me get you that information. Sorry, I'm having to look. There it is. Where did that go? Okay, so if you want to reapply for the EIDL, you would send an email to the reconsideration email. It's P as in Paul, D as in dog, C as in cat, recons, RECONS, at SBA.gov. And that's where you could apply and ask for reconsideration for additional funds. And again, once the pool of funds is available, that is available for EIDL runs out, then that wouldn't be an option for you. So I would do that as soon as possible.
Okay. Great. Well, I have to interject here and say that if you do have questions, I know Carrie has listed some phone numbers for you. I have to say I was shocked how fast I got through. When I had to do the SBA, I got through tier 2 level, I guess you would consider it, in under 5 minutes. Now, I've heard horror stories of much longer than that, and I'm sure it's highly contingent on the call volume at that specific period of time. But remember, it's on East Coast time, and so the earlier you call in the day, the better it's going to be. And I think it's 8 to 8 that they're open? 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you could hop on at 5 a.m. and get through probably pretty quickly. But I do have to say that it was a very quick response there. One other thing I do want to highlight, and it was neat because I got to see Carrie this week being featured on there, but I want to give a shout out for the SBDC town halls that they have. We promoted this lightly early on in the COVID-19 pandemic recovery. And the town halls have been meeting regularly. I think they're down to 2 days a week now on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. And it's open. They are covering endless questions. They do a little bit of presenting if there's updates on anything, and then they try and do Q&A until they're blue in the face and they can't answer any more questions. So if that is a resource you want, I will post that down below in the comments button. That's a really good one for you if you are available at 10:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays to hop on and ask your questions. I know I try and join when I can because I learn new things each time, but I I join. Carrie, do you have anything else that you want to share with us and leave with us?
No, I just encourage you all to continue doing what you're doing, be the entrepreneurs that you are, and we'll get through it. Just maybe it's a little longer than we wanted, but we'll get through it.
Well, I'm sure we'll have more updates. And so we'll probably see your lovely face again. But thank you so much for joining us, Carrie, and giving us, as of July 16, the latest update. Maybe it'll all change tomorrow. Who knows? But at least we know that we're up to date as of right now. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And to all of you who are watching this as a replay or that we're watching live, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have questions and you're watching the replay, please feel free to put the comments below and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks so much, guys. Stay healthy.
Thank you, Morgan.
Bye, Carrie.
Bye.